The girl had just finished with her last customer of the night. But little did she know this guy was total scum. Not only did he refuse to pay her, he even told her she did a lousy job and to get out of the car. Seeing that she wasn't budging, the man cursed up a storm as he came around to her side and yanked her straight out of the car. Ignoring her screaming at him, he hit the gas and took off, leaving her behind. Little did he know a truck driver nearby saw the whole thing. Meanwhile, the girl dumped out in the middle of nowhere wasn't panicking at all. She calmly walked into the restroom nearby. After making a funny face in the mirror, she casually picked a stall and sat down. Turns out when he yanked her out of the car, she'd swiped his wallet. Seeing the huge stack of cash inside, she couldn't help but burst out laughing. Good thing she'd played it smart. At least she didn't get roughed up for nothing. But suddenly right then, the roar of a car engine pulled up right outside the bathroom. The girl froze, panic setting in instantly. What if it was that guy, back because he noticed his wallet was gone? If it was, there was no way she'd get out of this. And just as she was panicking, a huge pair of feet suddenly showed up right outside her stall. She quickly grabbed the knife from her bag in a panic, then immediately tossed the wallet out from under the door. Watching those big feet turn and walk away, she quickly dropped to the floor to peek outside. Seeing no one out there anymore, she hurried to get out of that cursed place. But the second she opened the door, through blurry vision she saw a huge, towering figure standing right in front of her. And then she was dragged away by force. Not long after, the stranger drove the car to a farm and carried the unconscious girl off the truck. And what awaited her next would be an ending more horrific than anyone could imagine. Meanwhile, somewhere else, a girl struggling to make ends meet showed up at a pawn shop, planning to sell off anything valuable to help her family. But the shop owner turned out to be no good. After taking her necklace, he tried to get handsy with her. Little did they know, on the security cameras right then, a gang of robbers had already broken into the shop. Seeing this, the owner grabbed a gun and rushed out. The girl took the chance to try and slip away, but she barely made it 2 steps before the robbers caught up to her from behind. Not only did they take her hostage, they forced her to drive them out of there. To dodge the police chasing them, the robbers made her drive down a deserted back road. Little did they know this one small decision would bring disaster on all of them, because they hadn't gone far before her car broke down, overloaded, stuck in the middle of nowhere, with darkness closing in fast. Just as they were at a loss for what to do, they spotted a warehouse nearby with its lights on. And that was exactly the place where the girl in red had been taken. To stay safe, Deshawn told Long Ma to stay behind with their injured buddy, while he took the girl to scout ahead. The two of them quickly lied, saying they were lost, and asked to stay the night at the boy's house. Seeing how sincere they seemed, the boy almost said no. But with it already dark out, and them promising to leave at first light, he reluctantly agreed to let them stay. The reason he hesitated so much was because his grandpa and sister were both organ traffickers. He was scared refusing them would get them killed by his grandpa. But what he didn't know was that these two weren't good people either. The 3 of them were robbers who just pulled off a heist and had taken the girl hostage while making their escape. All 4 of them ended up staying at the farm for the time being. But among them, Long Mao was a real piece of garbage. While everyone else was distracted, he snuck out of the room, planning to kill the boy so he couldn't call the cops. In criminal psychology, this is called eliminating the witness to the robbers. The boy was the one uncontrollable variable on the whole farm. He didn't understand the stakes involved, and out of fear, he could do just about anything. Taking out the most unpredictable person first is basically instinct for criminals. But just as he grabbed the boy, ready to kill him, the boy's grandpa suddenly showed up, driving his truck back. Hearing the noise, the robber Deshawn rushed out of the room. But before he could even figure out what was going on, the boy came sprinting out of the warehouse in a panic. Deshawn got hit with a tranquilizer dart and passed out cold. Meanwhile, Long Mao was still out searching for the boy. When he finally got close enough, he realized in horror he'd killed a beautiful girl instead.
可突然
When Long Ma woke back up, he found his buddy right next to him, sliced wide open in horror. Every organ inside had been ripped out, and waiting for him was having both his eyeballs taken. In the black market organ trade, corneas are always in high demand, a hot commodity. Low rejection rate, easy surgery, stable price. The eyes he lost would end up going through a completely legal, anonymous medical channel and get transplanted into someone else's face. He died without even knowing what they'd taken from him. Not long after, the now-dead robber was dumped into a bathtub. And after a bucket of acid was poured on him, within minutes even his bones were reduced to sludge. After dealing with these two lowlifes, the remaining two were dragged straight onto the operating table, ready to have every organ harvested. But right at this critical moment, the hostage girl suddenly broke free from her restraints. The trafficker shoved her hard to the ground, then quickly called his other partner working elsewhere. But the girl seized her chance. And that's how the trafficker boss met his end, with his partner about to arrive any second. The kind-hearted boy rushed to shut the door, trying to buy the two of them some time. He had no idea what to do in that moment, because the man just killed was his own grandfather. But right now he didn't have time to think about that. All of it was karma for a grandfather who'd done nothing but evil. Seeing Deshawn cut open and unable to escape, he rushed the girl toward the tunnel to get out. The moment they left, the other trafficker burst in from outside to buy them some time. Deshawn fought the trafficker to the death in the operating room, but with his body already cut open, he had nothing left to give. In the end, he couldn't survive and died at the trafficker's hands. By then the two survivors had already crawled out of the cellar. Seeing the trafficker catching up to them, without hesitation they dumped a bucket of acid down on him. Watching him go completely still, the two of them had finally escaped. By the end of the film, only these two were left alive, even though the one who died was the boy's own grandfather. Since he'd witnessed firsthand all the horrible things his grandpa had done, he felt no sadness at all over his death. He was mostly just relieved he'd escaped that nightmare and could finally start living a normal life. In psychology, this is called moral disengagement. When someone watches a loved one commit evil for years and has no power to stop it, they emotionally cut all ties with that person. It's not that he wasn't sad. Long before his grandpa died, he'd already split grandpa and the trafficker into two separate people in his mind. The one who died was the trafficker, not his grandpa. And that's where the film ends. The boy finally escaped that house, but that house would live in his mind forever. His grandpa killed so many people, but what he hated most wasn't his grandpa's knife. It was having to pretend he never saw a thing, every single time. The dead trafficker finally found peace. But the ones still alive have to keep living with everything that happened in that house. This has been 3Chi Films. See you next time.